It's about being compliant. And if you're not compliant, you are forced to pay the fine plus damages that someone can suffer. And then the bigger issue of someone who is just hello, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Conscious Counsel podcast with your host, Corey Sterling. That's me. As always, I'm super excited to welcome you here and to share some fun and exciting legal information from my world as being a lawyer for more than 1,600 health and wellness business owners and the sort of issues that I go through and the legal issues that I have to resolve for my clients. As always, my promise is to provide information to you to help you protect and grow your health and wellness business. I understand that you think about a lot of things as a small business owner in health and wellness. You want to get results for your clients. You want to create a safe space. You want to create a community. You want to do marketing well. You want to manage your team well. You want to grow your business. You want to get more revenue. You want to do all of these things, and you're not thinking about the law. And I get that, and it's okay. And that's why I'm here. And this week, I want to talk about a really interesting change that I've seen take place in the legal sphere over the past couple of months, and really in 2026 taking more momentum. It is about the changes to the ADA, which is the Americans with Disabilities Act, and how it is now applying online. And I'll share a story later on in the episode about one of the issues that one of my clients went through. And before I do that, I'm just going to explain essentially what the changes are and what the risks are of not complying with the changes. So the ADA is an act which protects any individual with disabilities and makes sure that they're not discriminated against. And this piece of legislation dates back before the internet, way, way back. Yeah, let me tell you about it. So before the internet, the ADA applied, and it basically said everyone, irregardless of their disability, has to have equal access to certain things that a business provides. And more recently, over the past 2 years, is that the ADA is now applying to your online presence. And specifically for health and wellness business owners, it applies to being compliant on your website, through your booking systems, on your forms, and any apps that you're running for your business. So the big change is that the ADA used to be, okay, there needs to be a ramp at the entrance, or if you have a toilet, it needs to be accessible for everyone. And now the government and the laws and the rules have changed this to extend this towards your online presence as well. Some of the expectations that are changing around this is that you have to make sure that you're being accessible towards people to take bookings online when you're offering any virtual services and in any sort of partnerships that you're doing. And the practical risk from all of this is that people are getting sued, and people are getting sued by people who are fishing for lawsuits. So from all of the situations that I've dealt with the ADA changes, there hasn't been one that's like, there's a studio that has a client and that client's not able to access something and they filed a complaint. And every time it's someone who goes fishing to look for different policies or different things that are being done online that are not compliant, and then basically complaining, sending a cease and desist letter, reporting the business, who then gets fined. So not fun. Also with ChatGPT and the ability to create all of these robots that can do a million things at once, people are creating different programs or online robots that will just scan different websites within a particular region and see who's not compliant with the ADA and just send letters to them saying, hey, your online services are not accessible to me. This is my disability, and demanding payment. And so the issue really is lawsuits and the possibility that someone, either in a real case where there's someone is with a disability who is not able to access your online materials, whether it's in your app, whether it's your booking system, whether it's your website, and legitimately cannot access it equally, you would be at fault. There's a fine. It's about being compliant. And if you're not compliant, you are forced to pay the fine plus damages that someone can suffer. And then the bigger issue of someone who is just running robots to try to find businesses that are not compliant online and send cease and desist letters. I know that this was a practice. Unfortunately, this was a practice of people with the ADA even before the websites, where people would go to certain businesses, see if the bathroom was accessible or not, claim they had a disability and then send a demand letter or threaten to report the business or what it's not. And so the really, really important thing to understand about this, because it seems like it's really overwhelming, but the way that we're helping our clients deal with this is just by coming up with an ADA disclaimer. And it's all about clear communication in a similar way that a privacy policy is about compliance, and it's about the clear communication around how you hold personal information. Having an ADA disclaimer on your website and other places where relevant is all about letting people know, hey, we understand that this is a thing. This is how we support you. And basically compliance, just ticking the boxes of everything to say, we address this. These are the issues. This is the recourse. This is how all of it works. And we've seen a lot of success with the ADA disclaimer that we've been setting our clients up with. And it's a really, really important document to have now. I understand that you aren't thinking about this. You don't pay attention to the legal news or the happenings. But for me, sometimes I get stories like the one I'm about to tell you. And when those stories take place, it's like I just think I have to tell everyone in my community about this so that they're prepared. In this situation, it's exactly what you think it is. One of my clients has their website, had a privacy policy up, did not have an ADA disclaimer, did not have any information that was required. Someone came, reported the business, sent them a cease and desist letter for a whole bunch of money, claiming damages. And for me as the lawyer, my hands were really tied. There wasn't much that I could do except reactionary, respond, show why the person didn't suffer damages, get the client set up with an ADA disclaimer ASAP to show that we took the issue seriously. And it ended up with a small private settlement, but still significant amounts of money. And for me, it's just like I go through that issue and I think all of my clients need to know about this. For Conscious Counsel, we've sent out a newsletter letting clients know about the ADA disclaimer and our recommendation that they use it. And also just wanting everyone to be at best practices. And the feeling that makes me feel sick to my stomach is when my clients are going through a problem and I'm not able to support them. And so that's why I take the time to record messages like this and this podcast, and why we share things on our mailing list at Conscious Counsel. So, and I'll just add one final thing. I had a really interesting call with a client of mine who's also a Conscious Counsel Plus member. And they were asking a lot of questions about it. And I was like, look, I understand how you're asking a lot of questions about this. And if you want to go spend the time to figure out everything about this piece of legislation and what changes are made and what the requirements are and how it applies to small business owners in the health and wellness industry, you can. But it's the same thing with a privacy policy. Like, you can ask me, you can go forever down a wormhole to look at everything as it relates to a privacy policy. My recommendation as the lawyer is to be compliant. Have the ADA disclaimer as a footer on your website. God forbid there's an issue now, 3 months, 6 months, whenever it is. Hey, someone's filed a complaint against us. I would say, awesome. Send me a screenshot of when the ADA was put on your website and proof that you're using it, and I'll take it from here. And then at that point, it's really easy for me. So in summary, for this episode, I was talking about some of the changes to online accessibility for individuals with disabilities as it relates to the ADA, the Americans with Disability Act, and what changes we're seeing in the landscape. And basically, it used to be that ADA applied to the physical business, and now finally government has caught up and it applies online. So it applies through your booking platforms, through your website, through an app if you have it, through online classes if you have it as well. You need to make sure that you're offering equally to everyone. And the practical, most important piece is to have a disclaimer on your website to let people know, hey, we're trying our best to follow the rules. This is the process, and we're just ticking boxes. The ADA disclaimer is specifically drafted so that if someone makes a complaint, we can show that we followed all the things that we had to follow, that we've done all the points that we needed to do in order to communicate clearly with the public at large, that we address these issues, we take these issues seriously, and we're doing everything we can support anyone with disabilities. So if you have any questions about this, you can send me an email to Corey@consciouscounsel.ca and just make the subject ADA, and me or someone on the team can hop on a call with you and we can talk about getting you to best legal practices. Thank you so much for listening to this. And whatever it is that you do, make sure you work with a lawyer that loves you. Peace.